Very important to have proper comma placement because you need one when you talk about these two head coaches. 2-2. Grounded wide of third. Well, Johnson batting second. Tough to strike out. Just 8 strikeouts on the season for the sophomore from Franklin, Tennessee, who had a huge hit last year in the Super Regionals and scored a run in the 14th inning against Tennessee. Just getting a piece. Good job by Johnson making Landry work here.
Alabama coming into the Super Regional as the 15th seed, and Bama's used to being the underdog in these Super Regionals. Thinking back to that Super Regional in Knoxville last year, ended up losing game 1, came back to win those final 2 games and advance on to the Women's College World Series.
Johnson had the pinch hit single and scored the winning run in the 14th inning in the Knoxville Super Regional game 2. And has worked the count full 3-2. Last year, that pinch hit was her first NCAA at bat. So talk about stepping up on the big stage in a big moment. And here she is batting second in Norman against Oklahoma a year later. 9th pitch of the at bat. And we'll need a 10th.
Really great at bat from Lauren Johnson here. Every single swing that she takes, every single pitch that she sees, she is giving more and more information to her teammates in that dugout, trying to figure out what they're going to see from Sam Landry today. And so far in this at-bat, Sam Landry's had to throw just about everything she's got in her arsenal. We've seen change-ups, we've seen drop balls, we've seen rise balls. That last one looked like a 66-mile-per-hour curveball away.
11th pitch of the at-bat from Landry to Johnson. Fly ball to the right fielder. Sydney Barker out in right today for Oklahoma. Good at-bat by Johnson, but Landry wins the battle 2 down. It is breezy, as you would expect here in late May in Oklahoma. It is warm at 85 degrees. The breeze right before we came on was blowing out to left, and then it flipped over. Now it's blowing out to right. And I assume it's going to flip a few more times. Right now at 15 miles an hour, gusts to 24. Ball 1 to Callie Heveland. One of the leaders on this team leader in home runs with 14 on the season. 1-1.
Back-to-back changeups to start off Callie Heveland in this at-bat. You mentioned those 14 home runs, that OPS almost up to 1,200.
That's up high, 2-2. Landry with 165 strikeouts in 161 innings of work, as Madison mentioned. Started all 3 games of the regional here in Norman. Run rule wins over BU and then twice over Cal. With 10 innings in those 3 games in the regional. Misses for ball 3. Counts full to Heveland.
Already 19 pitches thrown for Sam Landry in this game. Bama making her work early.
The 3-2. Ball 4, and the first base runner of the game is Callie Heveland. She works a 2-out walk. So with 2 down, they'll bring up the cleanup hitter, and today it's Alexis Papillo. Bit of a surprise here. She appeared in just 1 game in the Tuscaloosa Regional as a pinch hitting appearance and was hit by a pitch, scored a run for the Crimson Tide. So the junior steps in against Sam Landry. Played at Northern Iowa the last 2 years and swings the first pitch and grounds it to Agbayani at second, and that will do it for the Crimson Tide in the first. Sooners coming to the plate when we come back to Norman. Super Regional games, Pickering in the top spot. 2-0 from Brisky.
So much length in this Oklahoma lineup, and it really does start with Cassidy Pickering in that leadoff spot. Moved into the leadoff spot just a few weeks ago. But she batted over 700 in last weekend's Norman Regional.
5 for 7 in the regional here at Loves Field. 3 home runs, including a grand slam, and walked 4 times. This is what to expect from Brisky today.
Going to see good velocity, high 60s consistently from Brisky out there in the circle. Likes to work that drop ball to both sides of the plate, but she will work in that rise ball to show a different look so that batters can't go up there and just sit on that pitch low in the zone. Really likes to tunnel both of her pitches. So you're going to see a lot of ground ball outs along with fly ball outs on that rise ball.
Pickering with a fly ball to shallow center. Vandergriff comes in to put it away for out number 1. If you weren't with us at the very beginning of this game, it's Alabama and Oklahoma. That should be all you need to say when you think about these programs, 2 of the marquee programs, most popular programs, 1-2 in average attendance in the country. But when you think about their postseason history, Madison, it is so tight. 6-6 in the postseason. They have met in some big moments. None bigger than the 2012 Women's College World Series, won by Alabama. The last time they met in the Super Regionals was a win for Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
And when we were talking about this matchup before this weekend, it surprised me a bit that this was the first time that Alabama has played here in Norman against Oklahoma. Now, of course, they've matched up in Oklahoma, playing in the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City, but the first time that these 2 teams have faced each other in Norman.
Not the first time they've met this season. They played an SEC series in Tuscaloosa, memorably a series win for Alabama. They took 2 out of 3, ended with a walk-off in game number 3 on the Monday night. Patty Gasso says our team learned a lot from that series. So much better after that Alabama series. That series helped them a lot. But you saw how close it's been. 6-6 the series in the postseason, run differential of 5.
Talking to Coach Patty Gasso before this Super Regional and a lot of the players, too, they feel like the team is very different now than the team that faced Alabama in Tuscaloosa just a few weeks ago.
Parker, we're at the pop-up in foul ground, being called for by Brooke Elistad. She puts it away. Well, in that series, Patty Gasso's team hit 190 in the 3 games, and she said there was just too much indecision. It showed in our swings, but since then, a little bit more decisive at the plate, it would appear.
Yeah, you saw them at times taking some pitches that looked like were good pitches that they could hit with authority, and then they would almost overcompensate by swinging at some pitches that were outside of the zone. But they seem to have been locked in up at the plate, especially when you look at the past few weeks. And one of those players that has really come on strong at the end of the year is Sydney Barker, another freshman that's in this Oklahoma lineup.
Back in the 3rd spot in the lineup again today. Brisky's pitch in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Barker, the freshman who's playing right field today. She's played on the infield and the outfield, whatever it takes to be on the field and in the lineup. And it's paid off, especially as of late. 348 on the season for Barker. 4 for 8 with 4 runs scored in the Norman Regional. Right side, gloved by Dukeshire, steps on the bag. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jocelyn Brisky in the circle for Alabama. Scoreless after 1 on a beautiful Friday in Norman. It's like Captain Stubing giving you a tour of the Love Boat. I mean, you got the captain to take you around. And the captain in the circle this year has been the Louisiana transfer, Sam Landry, for Alabama, Madison.
She has been so solid for Oklahoma this year. SEC Newcomer of the Year this season. Been a leader for this team, and you know that when she's out there in the circle, she is going to let her defense work behind her. She likes to throw that drop ball in, and I've found that her velocity has increased from last season to this season. On average, that drop ball, she was throwing at about 66 miles per hour, and now you're seeing that drop ball consistently come in about 69 to even 70 miles per hour.
Start Salem Hawkins with strike 1. Shortstop, sophomore, 313 on the season. Has been outstanding with the glove in the field for Bama, and she's been good at the plate, hitting 357 over her last 10 games entering this Super Regional round. And on the hands, it's 0-2. Hawkins last year at 294 with Mississippi State. 2 for 8 in the Tuscaloosa Regional with a couple of runs batted in and 3 runs scored. That's out of play. Alabama as a team, Madison, Virginia Tech was the number 2 seed at the Rhodes House. Hit 239. They had only 1 home run. But if Alabama is going to advance onto the Women's College World Series, the formula has been play clean in the field. Your pitchers are going to put into play and manufacture something on the bases and protect that lead. Hawkins sends 1 foul. Feels like that's what has to happen here. They've got to be clean and no free passes from the pitchers.
Completely agree with you. It's going to come down to the pitching and the defense for Alabama, and that's where you've really seen them improve over the past several weeks in the season. There was a point in the year where their pitching staff was giving up a lot of free passes. They were making a lot of errors on defense, but they've cleaned things up as of late, and that's why they've made it here to the Super Regional round.
Hawkins spoils a good pitch and stays alive. Just 3 errors for Alabama in the field in the last 12 games. That'll give you an idea how tight it's been out there, and they were trying just to manufacture just enough at the plates. Another 0-2 pitch. Tap to third, throwing and finding the out is Nelly Macaroni-Marinas. Over to Sanders, 1 away. Patrick Murphy's team began with a run rule win, 8-0 over Jackson State. Evelyn had a home run in that game. Then a couple of tight ones against the Hokies, 4-3 and 3-2. They were out hit 15-9 by Virginia Tech in those 2 games. But again, Alabama finding a way to get it done in the postseason. And
that was a Virginia Tech team that Alabama had faced earlier in the year, too. They ended up playing 2 games against them in February in Tuscaloosa. Ended up splitting those 2 games. But for Alabama, not a team that's known for the home run ball, but they're trying to string together base hits. They're trying to put together quality at-bats. And so far, it seems like part of the game plan for Alabama has been to make Sam Landry work out there in the circle, make her throw a ton of pitches. She's already up to 28 pitches here with 1 away in the top of the second.
11 of those pitches to 1 batter, Lauren Johnson, the number 2 hitter for Alabama. As Marley Giles steps in, Giles trying to find her swing. She's moved down in the lineup from the cleanup spot to the 6th spot in the order. 0 for 7 in the Tuscaloosa Regional. Landry brings the 2-0. Swinging it 2-0, and that's got to feel good for Marley Giles. Doesn't matter how many times it bounces on the dirt. If it's a base hit, it breaks the slump, and she's fired up, as is her dugout.
Marley Giles looks right back into her dugout to fire up her teammates. This one is a rise ball, 69 miles per hour up in the zone. You can see the right side of the infield for Oklahoma is shaded up the middle just a little bit, and that ball gets right past the diving glove of Ailana Agbayani over at second base.
Bunt laid down. Landry, excellent fielding pitcher, flips over to first to retire Elistad. 2 down. Giles over to second.
And this is where the timely hitting is going to come into play for Alabama. You get a runner on board. You use the sacrifice bunt to move that runner over into scoring position. And now Abby Dukeshire steps up to the plate. A batter that batted higher up in the order at the beginning part of the year. You saw her a lot in that 4 spot because of the power that she has when she's up there at the plate. And you know Alabama would love to see some of that pop off of her bat here.
Dukeshire 297 on the season with 7 home runs. Squibs the first pitch. That could roll back. That's not going to have enough juice to get there.
It started going that direction.
Thinking about it, yes.
Even made Abby Dukeshire take a couple of steps out of that batter's box just to make sure.
Definition of a cue shot in foul ground. One of those 7 home runs, Madison, to your point, hit a 2-run home run in Game 2 of the Oklahoma series. So she's had success against the Sooners this year. Down to the count 0-1 here in the Supers. 1-1. Foul tip, 1-2. Duchscher was 0 for 6 in the regional with 4 strikeouts. Steps up in a big spot here a week later with a chance to put Alabama in front in the second. Two and two. Got her on the hands, and she will be awarded first base. Giles is down at third. She'll have to be sent back to second base. And now Patty Gasso wants an explanation from the plate umpire, Michael Hernandez.
Take another look at this here to see where it hits Abby Duchscher. Does it get her on that left hand?
I believe so.
Pretty close there. Maybe just on the bottom part of that left hand.
Patty Gasso is checking with her coaching staff, and now the umpiring crew.
The ruling on the field is a hit by pitch that has been challenged by Oklahoma and will be under review.
It's very close to the knob. You saw Duke on that angle, do you?
You see the pinky move, you know, the pinky right there, that left pinky right there. Is it hitting right off of the top of that hand? Also important to note that the call on the field was that she was hit by a pitch. So you're looking here for that indisputable video evidence to change what the call was on the field.
And if you're just joining us for this round of the NCAA tournament, this is a video review being handled by Centralized Replay in Pittsburgh. So they're the ones deciding what the call is here. The umpires who you see there on your screen, 2 of our 4-member crew, they're just waiting for what the decision is from Pittsburgh. They don't have a say in it at all. The only say they'll have is making the announcement, which Robbie Guest will do here momentarily.
The call on the field has been upheld. It was a hit by pitch. This is Oklahoma's first challenge.
First of 2 challenges that you get per game. Of course, there could be an umpire-initiated challenge. So Patty Gasso 0 for 1.
I think you go for it, too. I think you go for that challenge. It was a very close play, and I know it's early in the ball game, but this feels like a big moment in this game.
Here's Larissa Pruitt with 2 on and 2 down. Ground ball, right side, Agbayani, and that will do it for the Alabama threat here in the second inning. Power coming to the plate in the second for Oklahoma. Gabby Garcia and her 18 homers up next. The memorable final, Alabama beating Oklahoma for the SEC's first national championship.
Jackie Traina, SEC Pitcher of the Year that year, Women's College World Series Most Outstanding Player for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Kayla Breaux, who's on the coaching staff for Alabama this year, part of that 2012 national championship team.
13 years later, they meet in the Sooner State again, this time down the road in Norman at beautiful new Loves Field. And Gabby Garcia, I don't want to do the math for how old Gabby was when they were dancing in the rain, but I think everybody can figure it out. Pretty simple, because the talented freshman steps in for Oklahoma to lead things off out of Chandler, Arizona. 18 home runs for Garcia. One and 2, Brisky ahead in the count to Garcia. Garcia was 3 for 7 with a couple of home runs, 4 runs batted in the Norman Regional. Of course, she and her teammates had a pretty memorable SEC tournaments. She had that walk-off home run.
I think so.
That's out of play. I thought it was interesting yesterday when you were asking Gabby about hitting. She thought she was going to be all glove, light hit for this Oklahoma program. I'm paraphrasing, but she didn't think she was going to be a power hitter, back cleanup for Oklahoma.
Yeah, she thought she was going to be more of a table setter for this offense, which is hard to believe with her 18 home runs this year. Ooh, she gets hit by the pitch there. Fired up as she turns back to the dugout, tossing her gear as she runs down that first baseline.
Well, she's in the table setter mode right now because the leadoff is aboard for Oklahoma here in the second.
Jocelyn Brisky trying to work this pitch on the inner half, trying to see if she can jam up Gabby Garcia, and just lets that one go too far, hits her on the elbow. But those are the little things that you find that Oklahoma teams year after year, they celebrate those little things, whether it's walks, hit by pitches. They know that every little thing can add up to big moments in these postseason games.
Here's the freshman third baseman, Nelly McEnroe-Marinas. 347 on the season for the first team all-conference selection in the SEC. 2-0. ...110 home runs as a team for Oklahoma this season. 8 last weekend. Ground ball through the left side, a base hit. There's the first hit for Oklahoma. They've got 2 aboard to get things going here in the second.
And this is where the game can start to speed up. It's a free pass with a hit batter, and then Nelly McEnroe-Marinas comes up in a good hitter's count. This is a 2-0 count, and she gets something on the inner half and pulls it straight through that 5-6 hole. And now all of a sudden, you're feeling that Oklahoma momentum start to build in that third base dugout.
4th hit of the NCAA tournament. Strike 1 to Sydney Sanders. Senior at first base today at 296 on the season. She's in double figures with 11 home runs. Brisky throwing strikes. It's 0-2.
Really nice grab by Marley Giles back behind the plate. Gabby Garcia was ready to take off to third base if that rise ball got past her, but Marley Giles was just barely able to get a glove on it.
That's out of play. Sanders, senior from San Marcos, California, had 15 home runs a season ago. Big hit against Texas in the Champ Series in OKC last year. Back up the middle, Brisky will get the out at first. So productive out for Sanders, second and third with 1 down for the Sooners here in the second.
Moves both of those runners over into scoring position. It looked like for a second Jocelyn Brisky was thinking about throwing to third base, but that ground ball rolled up on her a little bit, so I think that was the smart move to go ahead and get that sure out over at first base. And now this is where you're going to see that length from the Oklahoma lineup. They've been able to get production top to bottom, including Ilana Agbayani, who's stepping up to the batter's box now.
Agbayani hitting .340 on the season. She's hit .367 over her last 10 games. Takes ball 1. Her first NCAA tournament experience came last weekend here in the Norman Regional, and she responded. 3 for 5, home run, 3 runs batted in, 4 runs scored. For the BYU transfer, who takes a strike, it's 1-1.
Just 13 strikeouts on the season for Agbayani as well, so she does a nice job of just putting the ball in play, and that's what they need from her here. 2 runners over in scoring position, infield playing in, trying to cut down that run. You're trying to hit the ball out to the grass.
Out of play, it's 1-2. Feels like a moment when the Alabama defense needs to step up. The free pass issued to Garcia on the hit by pitch to start the inning. We talked about how good this defense for Alabama has been down the stretch. Brisky does it herself. It's in the dirt with first base open. Giles throws on to Dukeshire. Huge out as Jocelyn Brisky gets the strikeout, 2 down.
And just like we were talking about, just the 14th strikeout on the season for Agbayani. Look at the movement on the drop ball. She had been throwing rise balls early in this at-bat and then goes with that down pitch. Such great late bite on it, and that's a huge strikeout and a big moment for the sophomore.
Ball 1 to Isabella Emmerling, the catcher, who bats 8th. Junior out of California, 217 on the season. Two 2-0. Brisky was outstanding in game 2 of that regular season series against Oklahoma at the Rhodes House. Went the distance, gave up just 2 hits and 1 run in picking up the victory. One of 17 wins she has on the season. And a quick conversation with her head coach, Patrick Murphy, jogging out to the circle.
And I guarantee that just quick conversation from Coach Murphy was because Brisky found herself behind in the count again, 2-0, the same count that she found herself in against Nelly McEnroe-Marinas right before she hit that base hit out to left field. When you get into these types of counts, you know that hitters are going to be even more aggressive because they assume that you're going to bring a strike in there.
That was a healthy cut by Emmerling.
Yeah,
2-1.
I think Isabella Emmerling was trying to send that one out over the stands in left field.
Out of play, it's 2-2.
And just like that, after that quick conversation, 2 straight strikes to get Brisky back into this count.
It was just about the quickest circle visit I think we have seen.
Coach Murphy did run out there.
He ran out.
He sprinted out to the circle.
It was a sentence or just a couple of words, and then he ran back. Whatever he said has worked so far. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball, right side. Dukeshire to the bag, and a great job by Brisky to get out of the jam. Top of the order coming up for Alabama in the 3rd. That means the speedy freshman, Audrey Vandegrift, is up next.
Arizona, now a team that she was facing for the 4th time in the season, and it was one of the most dominant pitching performances I have seen all season long. The command of every single one of her pitches, the rise ball, the changeup, it just felt like every batter that she was facing was falling behind in an 0-2 count.
0-2 the count to Vandegrift, leading off for Bama here in the 3rd. That's out of play. Kennedy was battling injury for a good chunk of the season, not at 100%. Just the 2 of us sitting there, she looked on. If that's not 100%, if she's got more, maybe that's what she brought out to Florida State. Vandegrift fouls it off while she was in the box, so she continues to battle. You saw some of her accomplishments. This SEC first team selection, hitting .406. Entering play here today, grounded out the her first time. On base at a .507 clip. And look at that resume for a freshman.
Some of the times where she doesn't have to use her speed, she does have 6 home runs this season. And what stands out to me are the teams that she's hitting home runs against. She hit a home run against Oklahoma, UCLA, Texas A&M, Missouri, South Carolina. Those are some top teams across the country. Yeah. LSU.
That's set to foul ground and out of play.
Now, I'm sure she still jogs around the bases fairly fast, her sprint speed around the bases on her home runs, although she doesn't need to.
Top 3 finalists for the NFCA National Freshman of the Year Award. That's how good she's been. Talking herself up for this 1-2. Off the plate, it's 2-2.
It's a really good take in a 2-strike count, too. I like that location for that changeup away to try to see if Sam Landry could get Vandegrift to bite at that pitch.
Another one fouled off. 9th pitch of the at-bat coming up. We saw the 11th pitch at-bat from Johnson. Landry had thrown 37 pitches in the first 2 innings. You can see she's up to 45 now here in the 3rd. Another 2-2. Count goes full. It's a big pitch here for Landry because if Vandegrift gets on, you know she's got the green light to steal second. Landry wins the battle. Strikeout for the first out of the third.
A little bit of a hesitant swing from Audrey Vandegrift there, almost as if she was anticipating she was going to see another one of those off-speed pitches, those change-ups, but instead it's a rise ball located a little bit lower in the zone, so it's a pitch you have to go after, but because she was disrupting her timing with those off-speed pitches, that's where that hesitant swing came in.
You can see from the side, it's kind of that emergency hack kind of look, just I need to try to spoil this pitch.
Yeah, you're throwing barrel out there just hoping to get a piece of it.
So that was a double-digit at-bat for Vandegrift. Johnson had the long at-bat before flying out to right, facing Landry in the first. 0-2 the count to Johnson. Landry threw 14 innings in Tuscaloosa during that regular season series, so she's very familiar with this lineup. Johnson with a bloop, left field line, a foul.
In that series earlier this year, I felt like you saw a lot more drop balls from Sam Landry. 190 pitches she threw in that series. 36% of her pitches thrown were that drop ball. So far in this ball game, I feel like you're seeing a lot more of that rise ball, a lot more of those change-ups, mixing up the game plan a bit against the Crimson Tide here.
So is that part of the plan between Landry and pitching coach Jen Rocha, just to, look, we've played this team 3 times already and they've seen you throw 14 innings. We've got to go a little deeper into your repertoire?
It's all part of the chess match between the pitcher and the hitter, the pitching coach and the hitter. And you've got to imagine that Bama came into this series probably anticipating they were going to see a lot more of those drop balls. And so from an offense, you can go up there and hunt that pitch low in the zone. And what's a way to flip the script on the offense? Well, it's to throw some of your other pitches. Throw the rise ball that still comes in with really good velocity. Throw more and more of those changeups so that you can get some of those hesitant swings and just see how Alabama is able to adjust throughout the first few innings of the ball game.
Ground ball to the shortstop, Gabby Garcia, over to first, 2 down. Well, you talk about great defense. How about the middle infields for this Alabama team? Garcia, SEC All-Defensive Team. Agbayani, SEC All-Defensive Team. Just 32 errors committed by Oklahoma this season.
And for comparison, Alabama has nearly double that total. They have 60 errors on the season.
This is hit well to left, and it's sinking quickly, and it's one hop off the wall. Hevelin rounds first, slides into second with a 2-out double. Callie Hevelin aboard for the second time today.
This pitch came in right around 65 miles per hour. Looks like the drop ball out of the hand of Sam Landry. And look at the way that Callie Hevelin's able to get underneath this pitch. It actually gets a bit of topspin on it, so that's where it dives down really quickly towards that left field wall. Either way, Callie Hevelin able to make it in there for that 2-out double to try to extend this inning.
Callie was telling us yesterday, it's my last year. My mindset is go out and swing free. Last year, too much pressure. This year, put the ball in play, and good things will happen. Good thing happened for her there with the double. And here is Papillo.
Papillo batting in the 4th spot for Alabama. Went back through and looked at some of her at-bats that she had against Sam Landry. She had 3 strikeouts against her, but each at-bat was a long at-bat. She got herself into 2-2 counts, 3-2 counts. Similar to what we've been seeing a lot from this Alabama offense, just trying to see if they can wear down Landry in the circle, make her throw a ton of pitches.
Just took the changeup for strike 2, 0-2 the count to Papillo, who grounded to second her first time. Landry asked for time, with the pitch clock down to 2 seconds. Now ready with the 0-2 pitch. Check swing, it's 1-2.
Take another look at it here. Watching it live, I thought she held her swing. Good call there.
how to play.
Just going back a little bit to the Oklahoma defense. Of course, when we think about Oklahoma teams over the past 5 years, you think about the home runs, you think about the wins, but I think a big contributing factor to their success is the consistency that they have on defense. They're just not a team that hurts themselves defensively.
In the dirt, blocked by the catcher Emmerling on cue. Good play there to prevent the runner taking third base. Well, they do everything well. It's not just hitting all the home runs. The fundamentals are there. They play good defense. They don't run into outs. They don't give you extra outs and make mistakes and hurt themselves. They make you pay for your mistakes.
It's those instinctive softball plays that they're able to make throughout the season and in the biggest moments in these postseason games.
Grounded to the right side. Sanders handles it and will step on the bag to retire the side. We are scoreless after 2.5 here in Norman. We'll talk with the Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy next. Brisky, the quickest circle visit I think ever. Can you share with us the message? Because whatever you said worked.
Just one good pitch was going to get her out. I think it was 2-0 at the time with 2 outs, second and third. I told Marley to be a brick wall, but one good pitch would get her out, and I think 2 pitches later she got her out.
Coach, you guys have faced Sam Landry a couple of times this year. Each of the first 3 innings, you guys have been able to get people on base. What is it going to take? What adjustment do you want to see to bring some runs across?
Well, that time it was a little bit of a jam sandwich on the inside corner to Lex, so we got to get our barrel out there. But on the other side of that, she's throwing a really good changeup. So when you see a changeup 3 or 4 times and it's 53, 54, and then she throws something 67, that's probably why you get jammed. So maybe pick one pitch that you're going to hit and hammer it.
And who has it better than you?
Nobody.
Nobody. Right now, right?
Hey, great to see you guys. You guys are the best.
He says that to everybody, but flattery will get him everywhere.
Pitcher's job in the circle is to try to disrupt the hitter's timing, and that's exactly what Coach Murphy is talking about out there when he talks about the changeup and how she's even thrown them 3 pitches in a row. When she does come back in with that 67, 68 mile per hour pitch, it feels as a batter like it's getting on you even faster than it actually is.
9-1-2 for the Sooners here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning as Abigail Dayton steps in for the first time. Dayton spent time in the leadoff spot this year. 3 for 5, 4 runs scored in the Norman Regional. Trying to turn the lineup over. And she's ahead in the count 2-0. Played at Utah the last 2 years. Hit leadoff 29 times this season for the Sooners as Patty Gasso is mixed and matched in her lineup right through last weekend in the NCAA regionals here in Norman. 2-2.
All of these head coaches still tweaking things, trying to find the best combination of batters and lineups and defenses to put together to win these ball games.
There were different lineup combinations last weekend, but they still as a team hit 444 with 8 home runs, 28 hits, 16 walks.
Some big home runs too. A lot of their home runs, especially from the left-handed batters, going out to the opposite field, going out towards left field. Pretty good swing there by Abigail Dayton on that foul ball straight back.
Well, Gasso continues to say this team has not peaked, but she's starting to feel something, and it's pretty exciting. And she said, my job now is just to stay out of the way. And that's what she did with that great group of players who wrapped up their careers last year. Look at Dayton in the number 9 hole, fired up, earning the walk. Leadoff is aboard for the 2nd straight inning for Oklahoma. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball will be in Queens this weekend. Dodgers and Mets in the finale of their 3-game series. That's at Citi Field Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and also on ESPN Radio. Pickering swings at the first pitch, sends it to deep center field. It is out of here. Oklahoma 2-0.
We were just talking about the home runs and the long ball and the 8 home runs that they hit last weekend in the Norman Regional. Well, Cassidy Pickering had 3 of those home runs, and she adds another one this year in the postseason. It is a 2-run shot out to deep center field, all the way out there in the bushes beyond center field to put the Sooners up 2-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. First pitch, she goes after it. She has a plan. She gets what she wants, and she does not miss. 246
You wanted to know
feet.
how far it is from that spot at home plate to those flowers. It's 246 feet because Cassidy Pickering just hit her 18th home run of the season to that spot.
Made a dent in the hill out there with that shot.
I think someone else's home run may have taken out one of the flowers there because, you know, there's that little spot there.
And now if you're Ella Parker, who's up to the plate right now, you just go ahead and you hit it past center field, past the flowers, and you park it outside of the stadium. The home run she hit last weekend.
Or Parker it. This time it'll be a base hit center field. That was 285 feet, by the way, in the regional. This is a base hit for Parker. Has the same impact on the batting average, which is over 400 on the season. She's aboard with 1 down and a visit to the circle from the pitching coach, Lance McMahon, for Alabama.
Just how quickly things change in this game. First time through the order, Oklahoma wasn't able to push a run across, and then the walk by Abigail Dayton to start off this 3rd inning, and the pitch following to Cassidy Pickering. She blasted out of the ballpark, and it's followed up by Ella Parker with that base hit back up the middle, and you could just feel this stadium absolutely erupt with that ball off of the bat.
I didn't want to interrupt the dance party. I was just hoping that you would join in. Action in the Alabama bullpen.
Ailey
Double
Johnson
barrel
and
action.
Caitlin Riley getting loose out there in the bullpen for Alabama.
Sydney Barker takes ball 1. Barker grounded out in the first. So 1-2-3 inning for Brisky in the first inning. In the second, she hit Garcia. McEnroe Marina singled. And you just heard Patrick Murphy tell us that it took 1 good pitch to get out of that inning. And Brisky worked out of the jam with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Got a strikeout and a ground out. But trouble from the start here in the 3rd. Dayton with the walk. Pickering swings at the first pitch and hits her 18th home run of the season. Now Parker aboard with a single, and Brisky behind in the count, 2-0. Make it 3-0 to Barker.
And that's where Brisky's struggles have really happened in this bottom of the 3rd inning. It's falling behind early in the count. That walk to Dayton, she fell behind 2-0. Pickering went after the first pitch. Ella Parker, even in her at-bat, first pitch of that at-bat was a ball, and now she's behind again. 3-0, now 3-1 after that strike to Sydney Barker.
Grounded to Dukeshire, steps on the bag. They need the tag at second, and they get it. There's that Alabama defense. Comes in handy to clear the bases, and now 2 down here in the 3rd.
Playing clean defense is going to be so big for Alabama in this super regional, and it's a nice play by Abby Dukeshire over at first base, who knows where she's standing. She's close over to first base, gets that first out, and then Saylin Hawkins knows, because the force has been eliminated, has to apply that tag over at second base.
Slapped out to left field, and sliding and unable to come up with it is Johnson. It'll be a single for Garcia, who's aboard for the 2nd time today.
Garcia hit by a pitch in her last at-bat. This time gets a pitch on the outer half of the plate off the end of the bat. It looks like Lauren Johnson's going to have this one. Just misplays it a bit. Maybe hits off of the heel of her glove rather than landing in the pocket. But either way, you're seeing some of that fiery competitiveness again from Gabby Garcia over at first base.
Here's McEnroe Marinas, who singled her first time up. Back up the middle, Brisky with the glove, the throw to first to retire the side. But Oklahoma breaks through here in the third.
Cassidy Pickering's 18th home run of the season puts the Oklahoma Sooners on the board here in this Norman Super Regionals. The Sooners have the 2-0 lead.
Taken out one of the flowers there because, you know, there's that little spot there.
And now if you're Ella Parker, who's up to the plate right now, you just go ahead and you hit it past center field, past the flowers, and you park it outside of the stadium. The home run she hit last weekend.
Or Parker it. This time it'll be a base hit center field. That was 285 feet, by the way, in the regional. This is a base hit for Parker. Has the same impact on the batting average, which is over 400 on the season. She's aboard with one down and a visit to the circle from the pitching coach, Lance McMahon, for Alabama.
Just how quickly things change in this game. First time through the order, Oklahoma wasn't able to push a run across, and then the walk by Abigail Dayton to start off this third inning, and the pitch following to Cassidy Pickering. She blasted out of the ballpark, and it's followed up by Ella Parker with that base hit back up the middle, and you could just feel this stadium absolutely erupt with that ball off of the bat.
I didn't want to interrupt the dance party. I was just hoping that you would join in. Action in the Alabama bullpen.
Ailey
Double
Johnson
barrel
and
action.
Caitlin Riley getting loose out there in the bullpen for Alabama.
Sydney Barker takes ball one. Barker grounded out in the first. So 1-2-3 inning for Brisky in the first inning. In the second, she hit Garcia. McEnroe Marina singled. And you just heard Patrick Murphy tell us that it took one good pitch to get out of that inning. And Brisky worked out of the jam with second and third and one out. Got a strikeout and a ground out. But trouble from the start here in the third. Dayton with the walk. Pickering swings at the first pitch and hits her 18th home run of the season. Now Parker aboard with a single, and Brisky behind in the count, 2-0. Make it 3-0 to Barker.
And that's where Brisky's struggles have really happened in this bottom of the third inning. It's falling behind early in the count. That walk to Dayton, she fell behind 2-0. Pickering went after the first pitch. Ella Parker, even in her at-bat, first pitch of that at-bat was a ball, and now she's behind again. 3-0, now 3-1 after that strike to Sydney Barker.
Rounded to Dukeshire, steps on the bag. They need the tag at second, and they get it. There's that Alabama defense. Comes in handy to clear the bases, and now 2 down here in the third.
Playing clean defense is going to be so big for Alabama in this super regional, and it's a nice play by Abby Dukeshire over at first base, who knows where she's standing. She's close over to first base, gets that first out, and then Saylin Hawkins knows, because the force has been eliminated, has to apply that tag over at second base.
Slapped out to left field, and sliding and unable to come up with it is Johnson. It'll be a single for Garcia, who's aboard for the second time today.
Garcia hit by a pitch in her last at-bat. This time gets a pitch on the outer half of the plate off the end of the bat. It looks like Lauren Johnson's going to have this one. Just misplays it a bit. Maybe hits off of the heel of her glove rather than landing in the pocket. But either way, you're seeing some of that fiery competitiveness again from Gabby Garcia over at first base.
Here's McEnroe Marinas, who singled her first time up. Back up the middle, Brisky with the glove, the throw to first to retire the side. But Oklahoma breaks through here in the third.
Cassidy Pickering's 18th home run of the season puts the Oklahoma Sooners on the board here in this Norman Super Region. In that leadoff spot that has so much power, that can set the tone right from the first batter of the ballgame.
One down for Marley Giles, who singled her first time up. Ball one. Talked about Giles' struggles in Tuscaloosa and that base hit in the second inning, bringing back maybe the good times for her. She was 10 of 16 at the plate before the start of the NCAA tournament, including 7 of 8 at the plate in the South Carolina series to close out the regular season in the SEC.
And she's one of those hitters that can really get on some good streaks offensively. It can go up there and see the ball as big as a beach ball, and this is the time that you need to do it. And she's somebody that has some pop in her bat too.
2-1.
Has 5 home runs so far this season.
Giles hit 7 a season ago, missed 19 games with an injury. Predicted would go to the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City, and Alabama battled memorably a 14-inning game 2, and then Riley Valentine hit a grand slam to get things going in the first inning of game 3, and that was it. Alabama was heading back to OKC. They feel like the vibes are similar this year coming here in the Norman.
Similar in the sense of being the underdog coming into the Super Regional. I believe there was a rain delay in there somewhere in that Knoxville Super Regional last year as well, along with the 14-inning game. A lot of resiliency that you saw from that team last year.
We were there, so we remember the 4-hour and 35-minute 14-inning game 2 that featured 395 pitches. Not that I'm, regretting that at all, because it was the longest Super Regional game in history.
And now, runs were scored, if I'm remembering correctly, runs were scored early in the game, and there was probably about, a 2.5-hour stretch where no runs were scored by either team in that game?
It was 2-2 in the 4th. That's foul ball. It was 2-2 after 4. And then Alabama didn't score again. So the 14th inning when Lauren Johnson had a pinch hit single to lead off and then scored on a Riley Valentine double. Correction, Valentine doubled, and it was Kristen White who had the fielder's choice, chopped it on the infield, right? So
yes, and Kristen White had a couple of big hits against Tennessee earlier in the year,
yes,
too, in their regular season series.
That was the walk-off. Swung on a miss. Elistad is retired. 2 down.
Comes back again with this changeup here. Almost moves out of her hand, similar to what you're going to see from the drop ball. So that's where you get some of those swings that are so far out in front of that pitch. The way that she's able to tunnel the drop ball and the changeup coming out of the same arm slot. Batters just aren't able to pick it up quickly out of the hand.
Slow roller left side, played by McEnroe Marinas over to Sanders, and that will do it for Alabama. It's Oklahoma 2-0 in the 4th.
Clemson team's a team that has really impressed me this season too. A lot of freshmen, a lot of new faces for that program, and they played a tough schedule right at the beginning of the year. They were tested early, and now they're playing their best softball of the year.
You and I were there for that midweek in Knoxville, where they had the defensive double play to end the game. That started their current 11-game winning streak. That's how good Clemson has been down the stretch, winning the ACC tournament, and now a win away from their first trip to OKC.
A lot of young players, whether it's Macy Cintron, a two-way player for the Clemson Tigers, Julia Noller, just a sophomore for the Tigers, Marion Collins, Taylor Pipkins, a couple more freshmen for Clemson this year, Maddie Moore, a senior for that squad, leading the way for them. They've had a lot of different players step up in big moments for that team, especially through that 11-game stretch that you're talking about. It was Jameson Brockenbrough out there in center field that caught the ball, the line drive in center, threw the ball to second base for that game-ending double play in Knoxville.
That's out of play. 2-1 the count now to Emmerling. 2 runs in the 3rd for Oklahoma on a 2-run home run by Cassidy Pickering, her 18th home run of the season, tying her with Gabby Garcia for the team lead. 100, and if you want to go hang with all the Thunder fans tomorrow, I'll drive.
We're close, right?
If the Thunder pull it out and they are in the NBA Finals, downtown OKC would be quite the party with the World Series and the NBA Finals in town at the same time. Larissa Pruitt to lead off for Bama here in the 5th. Off speed, spins in there for a strike from Sam Landry. It's 1-1.
Came back with another one of those changeups. That one maybe just missing a little bit high in the zone. That's something we've seen from Landry throughout today's ball game, going back to back with those changeups, even back to back to back with that off-speed pitch.
In on the hands, tough hop for Garcia, not in time, and Pruitt showing some speed to get down the line with an infield single to start things for Bama here in the 5th.
Those are the plays where the speed can really make a difference, because Gabby Garcia over at shortstop, there's nothing else that she can do on this play. She even tries to throw it on a one-hop over to Sydney Sanders over at first base just to get it there that much quicker. But the speed of Larissa Pruitt is able to just beat out that infield single.
Here is Vandergriff, top of the order here for Bama. Vandergriff with the bunt. Remember, she's got elite speed. Well done by Landry to get the out at first. Moving on to second is Pruitt, one away.
A couple of times in this ball game now, Alabama's been able to execute and move a runner over into scoring position. It's just a matter of coming through with that timely hit. But this is the part of the order that Alabama wants up with a runner in scoring position. They want Lauren Johnson up and the on-deck batter, Callie Heavlin.
Here's Johnson, 0 for 2 today. Swung on a miss. Johnson had that 11 pitch at bat in the first inning. Landry threw 21 in the first, 16 in the second, 23 in the third, but just 10 pitches in the fourth inning, settling down. That's out of play, and it's 0-2, and working ahead to Alabama hitters here as this game moves on. Opponents hitting just 199 against Landry this season, with a whip just north of 1. Fly ball to right center field. Dayton drifts over, called off by the right fielder Barker. Tagging is Pruitt, and she'll take third with 2 down.
Smart play by Larissa Pruitt at second base. She was hanging off of second base just for a second at the last minute, decided to go back and tag up with the way that that ball was carrying out towards right field. Smart also by the freshman in right, by Sydney Barker, taking charge and calling that ball in center, because she had a better throw, better angle to throw that ball if she needed to all the way to third base.
Alabama could really use a run, and they have the right player at the plate, Madison. Callie Heavlin walked in the first, doubled in the third. This season, with 2 outs, she's hitting .357 with 15 runs batted in.
And a lot of that has to do with her pitch selection up at the plate. She was somebody that battled some injuries in the fall, and she decided to take that time and spend it in the bullpen to sit there and watch pitches and learn how pitches move through the zone. Which direction, drop balls, how much they're going to move. Rise balls, how much they're going to move. And when you look at her numbers too, you can see just the massive offensive improvement. But the stat that sticks out to me, last season she had 37 strikeouts and 15 walks. This year, just 16 strikeouts to 26 walks.
Team leader with 14 home runs on the season. 2-0. Hustling back to third was Pruitt. Heavlin hit .245 a season ago. Came into the Super Regional at .371. And now Jen Rocha, the pitching coach, will head out to the circle to talk to Landry and Emmerling.
Guaranteed this is all about strategy on how they want to go after Callie Heavlin, because she is somebody that could tie up this ball game with just one swing of the bat, especially after you fall behind in that 2-0 count. You do not want to leave something over the sweet spot in the zone, because Heavlin is one of those batters that will make you pay. We'll see what Callie Heavlin decides to go after here in this good hitters count. Heard Coach Patrick Murphy telling us earlier in the ball game that they had to pick a speed. They had to pick a pitch that they wanted to go after. Do they want to go after the high velocity stuff, or do they want to go out there and sit a changeup?
Takes a strike, it's 2-1. Foul ground, long run for Barker and for Sanders. Drops in, and it's now 2-2, and this Loves Field crowd should get a little louder with 2 strikes and a runner on third here in a tight game here in game 1 of this Super Regional. Full count. Fourth time today that an Alabama batter has worked the count full against Sam Landry.
Before that last pitch, the 2-1 pitch that Callie Heflin got was a changeup. She fouled it off to the right side. I wonder if she was sitting changeup in this at-bat. Now being in a 2-strike count, you are trying to adjust your timing to be on time for everything.
Another 3-2 pitch from Landry. We'll do it again. Eighth pitch of the at-bat. Landry gets the strikeout to retire the side.
Sam Landry facing Alabama's leading home run hitter goes back with the drop ball low and inside. Third strikeout on the day for Landry. That both of these programs are able to get year after year, game after game. And hearing just how into the game the fans are too. Both of these teams throughout the game, they like to utilize their fans and that home field advantage.
That was one of the questions coming in here, because when Oklahoma went to Alabama, the Rhodes House was rowdy. It was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and they still averaged 42.99, a couple of sellouts first 2 days. And Monday night's tricky, but it was a walk-off. It was a thriller. A comparable series was when Texas came here to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma got the sweep. They averaged 45.78 for that series. Crazy.
And it's an adjustment, too, when you're out there on the field and you hear the crowd, and all you can hear is the crowd. And that's something that Coach Patty Gasso talked to us about after that series at Alabama, how the team felt what it felt like to be in that type of environment.
Yes, what teams experience when they come here to Loves. In on the hands, and that's just foul.
Now, of course, it's such a fun environment for players to be in, but it is an adjustment. The crowd is really loud, and especially in Tuscaloosa, and I'm sure the same thing here. I did play on this field here at Loves Field, as that ball just barely misses down that line, a couple of inches foul.
You played down the street.
I did play down the street at the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City.
And you played at Marita Hines.
Did play at Marita Hines, yes, I did play at Marita Hines.
When was the last time you played there?
I knew you were going to say that. Yes, my career ended at Marita Hines.
What a career it was, though. 3-time All-American.
But you hear the crowd, and it feels like the crowd, especially in Tuscaloosa, the crowd is right there in your ear. I can almost still hear them when I'm playing shortstop in my right ear, to the point where you feel like you're yelling to your teammates that are right next to you just to communicate the little things. But that's an adjustment that players have to make when they get out there on the field. And I'm sure the same goes for playing here at Loves Field when you have so many fans just surrounding the entire field. They probably feel like they're right on top of you when you're out there on the infield.
Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy took a couple of steps out of the dugout, wanted to know where that last pitch was. It was called a ball. Misses, headed towards the gap in left center field. Short hops off the wall. Dayton digging for second. It's a leadoff double. She's aboard for a second time today.
We talked about the length in this Oklahoma lineup, and what an example. Abigail Dayton batting in that 9 spot. She had that big walk back in the 3rd inning right before the Pickering home run, and this time in a full count, she drives the ball the opposite way into that left center gap. That is something that these left-handed batters in this Oklahoma lineup do so well. They utilize their legs to drive the ball with authority the opposite direction.
And now, as Madison mentioned, you've got to deal with this environment. As the crowd gets a little louder here at Loves.
I'm pretty sure these fans have been dancing since the very first pitch of this ball game.
Back to the top of the order for Pickering. Hit her 18th home run of the season to account for the game's runs back in the 3rd inning. In the dirt for a ball. You talk about adjustments for this Oklahoma team. It feels like they are making the proper adjustments against Jocelyn Brisky in this lineup.
When I looked back at the game in the series that Oklahoma played in Tuscaloosa, the pitchers for Alabama really were working the outside part of the plate.
Opposite field, Johnson there in left. Pickering is retired. 1 down.
That was another hard hit off of the bat of Pickering, but the home run that Pickering hit was on a pitch away, and same thing with that double off the bat of Abigail Dayton on a pitch away. It seems like they're trying to take away that outside part of the plate. First time through the order, to your point, 1 for 7. Second time through the order, now 4 for 10.
Ella Parker's 1 for 2, singled her last time up. Oh, 2.
We did ask Ella Parker if that was the furthest home run that she had hit last weekend, the 285-foot shot. I was going to say out to right field, but it cleared the stadium. It cleared the premises. It made it out there on the grass beyond the stands.
That's up and in for a ball. It's 1-2 to Parker.
She did say that it was the furthest home run that she said. You can still see the dent in the grass.
You're supposed to replace your divots. it did leave a mark out there. 1-2 the count, and it's a pop-up to shallow center field. Vandegrift puts it away for out number 2. I'll bring up Sydney Barker, who's 0 for 2 today. Just 5 hits for the Sooners against Jocelyn Brisky. But a walk, a home run, the difference right now in this game. It's a fly ball, might be playable, moving over towards the wall, and making a great effort is the right fielder, Pruitt. Couldn't grab it, but she's laughing and smiling coming away from the play. Nice round of applause from this Oklahoma crowd here at Loves.
I think she's pointing over there saying, I almost just ended up over with the tarp beyond the wall. Somehow hangs on with the right hand. Look at that. Hangs on with the right hand and with the glove to keep herself in play. A little bit of a smile on her face after that one.
That's the Alabama bullpen turning around in surprise, saying, there's our right fielder coming to join us here in the pen.
You know, pitchers love to see that type of effort from their defenders, doing whatever they can to try to get themselves out of this inning. A couple of ground balls to the right side in the first 2 at-bats for Sydney Barker. Working the pitches low in the zone. I'd imagine here she's trying to see if she can get something up in the air. maybe go after some of those rise balls.
2-1 the count right now to Barker. This is going to get down for a base hit. Being waved around is Dayton. It's an RBI for Barker, and it's a 3-0 lead for the Sooners.
Really good adjustment by the freshman, Sydney Barker. This is a pitch that's low in the zone. She hit a ground ball over to first base on a drop ball earlier in this game. Well, she makes the adjustment. She gets barrel underneath that pitch and drives it out there into the right center gap. And Abigail Dayton comes around to score for the second time in this ball game, and the Sooners have the 3-0 lead.
Hannah Core will come on and run for Barker, who picks up her 32nd RBI of the season. And that will bring up Gabby Garcia. Hit by a pitch in the second single. Landry trying to end it here in the 7th. She'll face a pinch hitter. Monty Hubbard steps in. Freshman from Huntsville. Takes strike one. That's pitch number 100 for Landry. Gave up a single in the 2nd, double in the 3rd, infield single in the 5th, and a double in the 6th. That's it. Ground ball left side. McEnroe Marinas over to first, 1 down.
This has been a game, too, where, yes, Sam Landry has had a few strikeouts, 5 strikeouts so far on the day, but she has relied on her defense to be able to make those types of plays behind her. Nellie McEnroe Marina so solid over at third base, making that play look easy, but they know they're going to see a lot of those ground balls when Sam Landry's in the circle.
By my count, 12 ground ball outs today for Landry as she starts Pruitt with strike 1. 1 for 2 today, reached on an infield single in the 5th. One and 2 to Pruitt. When we're done here in Norman, we will get you to Knoxville for Nebraska and Tennessee. 1-2 to Pruitt. Soft liner to center. Coming on and making the catch is Core. 2 down.
This Oklahoma defense stepping up in the biggest moments right before that pitch. Hannah Core took a couple of steps over to her right, almost as if she knew that ball was coming right to her. Gets a great read on that line drive off of the bat. Another stellar defensive play for the Oklahoma Sooners.
Crowd was starting to come to their feet and make a little noise, and then Patrick Murphy called time just to quiet things down here as Vandergriff will step in. Just wanted to get his lineup card. Probably just a better move just to try to quiet things for the moment for his freshman to step in. Who grounded out in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, sacrificed in the 5th. 2 down here in the 7th. Strike 1. One and 1. Soft liner to second. Agbiani has it, and Oklahoma wins game 1 of the Norman Super Regional. It is their 17th consecutive Super Regional victory, the first shutout for an Oklahoma pitcher since 2018 against Washington. Sam Landry tosses a gem.
It's a complete game win for Oklahoma today. They got great pitching in the circle from Sam Landry. She got timely outs, made big pitches when she needed to, when Alabama had some runners on board. The defense stepped up, made the routine plays.